Welcome to The Explainer. We're doing a case board analysis today on the woman who disappeared. So, we're stepping right off the sunny streets of LA and diving straight into the gritty, fast-paced world of private investigator Lenny Samuel. If you love piecing together clues, tracking suspects, and, trying to stay one step ahead of the bad guys, you are absolutely in the right place. We are going to build out a case board for a mystery that starts with a simple missing person and then, well, it quickly spirals into something much, much darker. I mean, think about it. What happens when a beautiful stranger pays $50 a day to find her missing twin, but absolutely refuses to leave her own address? Because every classic mystery starts with a knock at the door, right? And for Lenny, that knock brings in a pretty unusual client. $50 a day is a really solid payday for a PI who usually just sits around his empty office. But that catch, refusing to give an address? That's our very first major red flag. In the investigative world, if a client wants to stay hidden while asking you to expose someone else, yeah, that's a walking hazard sign for sure. And here she is. She introduces herself as Helen Garfield. She tells Lenny she just flew in all the way from New York because her twin sister, Elaine, just completely failed to show up for a dinner date last Monday. Helen's 18, wearing this elegant green coat, and she completely brushes off Lenny's standard procedures. When he asks for her contact info to give her updates, she just says it won't be necessary and that she'll be back the next day at 5. She just leaves him with 2 addresses, Elaine's apartment and Elaine's office. Let's look at how the investigation actually begins. 9 a.m., the Manson Building, that's Elaine's apartment. 9:42 a.m., Meyer & Meyer Attorneys, her office. And by 11:45 a.m., he's at the Las Cabanas nightclub. Lenny doesn't waste a single second here. His morning is just this rapid-fire sequence of location checks. Pinning these spots to our case board, it really shows us a victim who is moving between vastly different worlds. I mean, going from a respectable law firm straight to a dilapidated daytime nightclub, that tells us something is definitely up. But actually, let's rewind just a bit to that very first stop, because it sets a really dangerous tone. Lenny slips into Elaine's apartment, number 716 in the Manson Building. And the biggest clue here is what he doesn't find. The place is impossibly tidy. Literally no dirty plates, no old milk in the fridge, and her wardrobe is almost totally empty. You know as well as I do, people who vanish out of nowhere usually leave a mess. An empty closet? That suggests planning. But before Lenny can even process that, boom, he's ambushed. 2 guys are waiting for him. A tall guy with a gun and a short, red-haired thug named Joe. Lenny tries to fight his way out, using Joe as a shield, but the tall guy just does not care. He knocks Lenny completely unconscious. So he wakes up hours later on the floor, head absolutely pounding. The thugs are gone. He manages to drag himself back to his own office. And the literal second he walks in, the phone starts ringing. He picks it up, and this voice just delivers a chilling message. Forget about Elaine Garfield. And they follow it up with a threat that if he doesn't drop it, they're going to hurt him a whole lot worse. This definitely proves one thing. Elaine's disappearance isn't just sisters losing touch. There is a heavily coordinated, violent effort to keep her hidden. Now, what are the clues from the coworker? Well, telling a private eye to drop a case is pretty much the fastest way to guarantee he keeps digging, right? After sleeping off that concussion, Lenny goes straight to Meyer & Meyer Attorneys. He finds Elaine's office mate, Susie Graham, buys her a coffee, and the info he gets points in a completely new direction. Susie says Elaine left work suddenly on Monday afternoon, the exact day she vanished, saying she felt sick. But the real gold here? Susie mentions Elaine recently met a guy at the Las Cabanas club, and they had been arguing about him. The guy's name is Benny Greep. He's a drummer. We finally have a solid suspect. So Lenny tracks Benny Greep down to this rundown apartment building on Arvida Street. The door's wide open, and the place is a total disaster area. I'm talking dirty plates and glasses everywhere, which is a wild contrast to Elaine's spotless apartment. And then, he checks the bathroom. This is where the whole case takes a massive, grim turn. He finds Benny Greep in the bathtub. He's been shot in the chest, and the water in the tub is red. Just like that, our missing persons case has escalated into a full-blown murder investigation. Lenny actually does the right thing here and calls the cops. But of course, no good deed goes unpunished for this guy. The officers show up, immediately suspect him, and drag him down to the station for an interrogation with Sergeant Murphy. Now, Murphy makes zero secret of the fact that he absolutely despises private detectives. He grills Lenny, demanding to know who hired him. But Lenny, sticking to his professional code, stubbornly refuses to give up Helen Garfield's name. He insists his client has absolutely nothing to do with the dead drummer. Murphy eventually lets him go, but it's a setup. He puts a tail on him. Lenny cleverly loses the police cruiser, but things are about to go totally off the rails.
He gets back to his office and finds this urgent, handwritten note from Helen. She missed their 5 o'clock appointment and is demanding they meet at Las Cabanas at 11:30 p.m. But as he's driving to the club, he realizes he's being followed again. This time, it's a little yellow car, packed with the exact same thugs who beat him up. So we get this high-speed chase winding through the city streets, and it ends brilliantly. A dog runs into the road, Lenny slams on his brakes, and the thugs crash their tiny yellow car right into the back of his heavy Chrysler.
With the thugs sidelined by a cop who saw their reckless driving, Letty finally makes it to Las Cabanas. Now, we really need to pause and evaluate our client, because let's look at Helen's claims versus her actions. The contradictions are just glaring. She claims she desperately wants to find her sister, but outright refuses to give her own address. She hires a PI, but vanishes the second things get dangerous. She says she doesn't know LA, yet she's setting up midnight meetings at obscure nightclubs. I mean, why would you hire an investigator and then actively hide from them? You really have to keep these discrepancies in mind as we piece this together. And all of these discrepancies totally come to a head during their midnight meeting at the club. The vibe is incredibly tense. Lenny sits down with Helen and just drops the bomb on her. He's been beaten up, he's suspected of murder, and the drummer her sister was dating is dead. When he says Benny Griep's name, Helen's cool, collected facade totally shatters. She starts nervously stroking her hair, looking incredibly panicked, though she still claims she's never heard the name. But then, she asks to be excused to go to the ladies' room. And yep, you guessed it, she slips straight out the front door, vanishing into the night and sticking Lenny with the bill.
Honestly, Lenny doesn't even have time to be mad about the unpaid tab because the chaos at the club escalates so fast. As he tries to leave, he spots Joe, the red-haired thug, waiting by the door. Suddenly, he feels a knife against his back. It's the tall gunman. Lenny is completely cornered on the dance floor. In a split-second, desperate move, he kicks Joe, breaks free, and just sprints through the dining area straight into the incredibly crowded nightclub kitchen, with both thugs hot on his heels. Talk about survival instincts kicking into high gear. He's cornered in this kitchen with 3 angry cooks and 2 armed thugs closing in. So what does Lenny do? He grabs a massive saucepan of boiling hot soup right off the stove and chucks it at his attackers. When the tall guy tries to draw his gun, Lenny just grabs a huge stack of dirty plates and starts hurling them like frisbees, just smashing them into Joe. It is this frantic, incredible action sequence that really shows us the physical, gritty toll this case is taking on him. Amazingly, he actually manages to bust through a locked back door and bursts out into the dark alley. He thinks he's finally in the clear, but as he gets to his car, a shadow moves up behind him. Wham! A heavy blow to the head. Everything goes completely black, and when he finally opens his eyes, he's staring straight up at the harsh ceiling lights of a police station. Yep, for the second time in 24 hours, Lenny is locked in a cell. Only this time, they found him lying out cold in the middle of a busy road, almost run over by traffic. And who's sitting across from him looking incredibly smug? Sergeant Murphy. Murphy lays out a pretty stark deal with the law. He tells Lenny he's got him dead to rights. The club owner wants him locked up for 6 months for practically destroying the kitchen. But Murphy, he doesn't actually care about some broken plates. He cares about Benny Griep's murder and whatever criminal syndicate is running out of Las Cabanas. So he offers a trade, complete honesty for freedom. Lenny finally realizes he is way, way too deep in this. He spills the whole story. Elaine, Helen, the thugs, the club. They form this really uneasy alliance, and Murphy agrees to contact the New York police to find out who Helen Garfield actually is. Which brings us right to the ultimate question on our case board, and really, the big puzzle I want you to take away from this explainer. Who really is the woman who disappeared? Is it Elaine, whose apartment was suspiciously wiped clean before she vanished? Or is it Helen, the client who mysteriously ghosts us every time the truth gets a little too close? We've got a dead drummer, a syndicate of thugs, and 2 sisters who might just be playing a very deadly game. What do you think is hiding in Helen's past back in New York? The clues are all up there on the board. Let that simmer, and until next time, keep analyzing the evidence.